I go out walking after midnight. It's more like 6 o'clock in the morning. I just happened to wake up at midnight. And it is much warmer than I anticipated outside. But I figured I might as well talk on here while I'm clothed and whatnot. Or I should say fully clothed. And yeah, I feel like I need a sweatband or something. But yeah, I didn't walk so good. That was rough. Yeah, I was going to take my pulse, but I was like, what's the point? I should have paper towels or something, but I just walked in here. I barely made it in here. And I sat down. Let's move this and see what happens. If I can open the window and get some air, maybe. I'm not going to cooperate, are you? Just stay right there. I can maybe get a powerful finger. It's probably locked. There we go. That's better. Some air in here. You hear them birds chirping? I never found that a cheerful sound, even when I was fishing. Never found the birds chirping. I don't like birds, so I don't like birds or fireworks. Maybe it's things that go in the air that I don't like. Not fond of airplanes. Helicopters are pretty cool because they're kind of like mechanical hummingbirds. And hummingbirds are so cool that they cover for the uncoolness of helicopters. And that is just the kind of quality entertainment that you tune into me for. Oh man, enough with the software nonsense. I guess there is no such thing as the fourth wall. I try to break the fifth wall, to get into the dimension between space and time where neither exists. And we're all just fragmented stardust, all intermingled, whether we like it or not. And these are just our forms here on Earth trying to get along with each other, but we can never manage to do it. It's just sad. But this is like, this is like fourth wall stuff. Like when Burt Reynolds was the first guy to start that shit. And after a while, audiences got tired of it. But he would look at the camera in the middle of his movies in the 70s and give you that wink, like this is all a bunch of bullshit. He gave you give you the camera like a knowing look. I think he was the first one to do that kind of crap. And break the fourth wall as part of fiction, but of course this isn't fiction. So this is me. That wasn't a good walk, but yeah, that sleep disruption just disrupted every aspect of my life in a very basic way. All the functions. Yeah, so that wasn't good. And then I had weird interchange with the aid worker where yeah, I don't know what was well, she had something going on in her personal life that I might as well share with you because what the hell. But she arranged for her elderly father to live next to her in this house and got it all set up and everything. And it doesn't look like they're going to get the house because the guy's dragging his feet or something about closing it or whatever. And I think that was weighing on her mind, so she wasn't into too much of the politeness and the niceties of life yesterday. But yeah, she did something weird anyways. I always leave the door open for her. So she walks in my house and says something and then walks back out. And I'm in the bedroom, and like I said, the reason why I stay in the bedroom is I got a nice soundproof door. So, I thought I heard something, but by the time I get out there and open the door, there's nobody in the hallway. And then, like, the phone rings, and the lady's all freaked out on the phone, thinking that I'm dead or something. And she's like, you hear it in her voice, of course, it's that stupid phone that I hate, where it pops up like you're trying to answer the phone on it, and it pops up like ads for games and shit. By the time you can like swipe off and get rid of the game ads and stuff, the thing's already gone to voicemail, and the voicemail sounded a little bit frantic, like "Are you dead?" type frantic. And then so I called her back, and she's like, "Oh, she's still all hyped up. She's all your caseworker's out there. She's there to help you. And I'm like, okay. Why don't you? I was thinking, why don't you just walk in, knock on the bedroom door? What the hell? Difference does it make? It's not like I forgot what time. She's not going to catch me in doing any onanism, which that's like I think I was explaining to my brother the origin of onanism. And you can like, I don't know, tune out if you already know this, but there's a dude in the Bible, and they had a rule amongst the Hebrews, like if one guy's wife died, it was a duty of the brother to impregnate the guy's wife for his dead brother. And the guy's name was Onan, but he was resentful of the fact, either that or he wanted to hit that shit again and again and again. I don't know, pardon the crudity, but I don't know. But the whole thing is he like did the act, but he spilled his seed upon the ground. So anyways, like I'm like a little kid in Catholic school, and I'm in there confessing the made up sins like I always did. I wouldn't go in there and say, oh, I hit a car with a rock yesterday and hid in a pile of moldy grass. I would go in there and I just make up some crap, because everybody had to go to confession, so I had a good imagination, so I just make up a bunch of nonsense that wouldn't get me in trouble. Oh, I banged the kid's head on the concrete the other day. They would, yeah, supposedly there's like, what do they call it? Confidentiality, I guess we'll call it, between priest and parishioner. But when you're a little kid, you don't think that way. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't confess into shit, man. I grew up in a household with somebody that killed somebody, man. Confession wasn't my deal, man. What's that? Omerta, code of silence. And so, anyways, he tells me to go out and look up this passage in the Bible or whatever. And I just happened. I'm like, I don't know how old, like 8 years old, 9, 10. Who the hell knows? Too long ago. But I definitely remember like sitting in the church after going to confession and looking through the Bible and reading about this owning guy banging his brother's wife and then pulling out and jizzing on the floor. And I'm like a kid thinking, I don't think this is the passage that the priest wanted me to read. So anyways, onanism became, somehow, I don't know how, since he actually got to bang a woman and thing, became synonymous, or like another, what do you call it, a synonym for masturbation. So in other words, if the aid worker came on here and knocked on my door, I knew when she's coming, I'm not going to get involved in anything of an onanistic nature, because I know she's coming, and I'm not that type of person, A, and B, even if I was that type of person, she's a 300-pounder. And I'm sorry, but I have a cutoff limit. I just do. It's just like, yeah, I don't want to go too far astray into this nonsense. Actually, I do, really. But it will just get nastier and nastier because of my brother's evil influence. Like I said, my brother has the filthiest sense of humor of anybody that I've ever, uh, ever met. And he will just be like, too far? And just look at you with an evil look and be like, too far? I was like, dude, don't take it there. Why did you do that? Why? But it's a shame. He's so damn funny. It's a shame that he's got like all them other issues, because I am positive that guy could be a stand-up comic. 'Cause he's a funny dude, man, and he had like a little bit of sadistic streak in him, so he would stay sober around people that were high, and like tell them jokes and just keep riffing and riffing until they were like, stop, please stop. They're like, like trying to kill them with laughter. Like Pennywise the clown tried to kill Roland of Gilead at the end of the book, toward the end of the Dark Tower series of books. Anyways, that's a lot of stuff to be floating around a person's head and try to weave that on to some connected thing. But anyways, so I took a blood pressure pill just to be on the safe side. I can't be fucking around with my heart. I haven't taken a walk, and it showed. And I was like, I'm gonna walk and do what I did the other day and tap my cane on the side of this huge recycle bin thing that's by the big road out there. And I'm like, nope, not gonna do that. That's the thing, you walk so far away from home that you don't know on the way back at what point your legs will be like, no mas. We ain't doing no more. Sorry, dude. I had a couple of misfires too, where like leg went this way when I wanted it to go that way, and so yeah, I didn't enjoy that particularly. And it's got to be 60 already. That's not good walking weather. See, I like the cold. I like to walk in the cold. And since I don't fish anymore, I'm not a big fan of summer and spring and all that. So, um, I don't like. The only thing I don't really like is hot days and snow and ice on the ground, or of course extreme cold. I mean, what kind of idiot is gonna like 6 and 8 degree highs? You know, all that's my shit, man. I love to go out bundled up like an Eskimo with only my nose peeking out and feeling that sting. Which remind me of like I got high once. Well, I got high more than once, but I got high once, and at this particular highness, I decided, this is back in the VCR days where you went to the video store and you picked out videotapes, 90s videotapes to return. And it's about, I don't know, a 2 mile ride. So I was like, oh, I'll get high first. It's cold outside. That'll help. No, don't do that. It was 18 degrees out and I'm riding a bicycle. And in other words, so I'm creating a wind chill factor of below zero while I'm high. And because I'm high, I can feel every freaking centimeter, millimeter, nanometer of that cold just penetrating all through me, and it was torture. And I was like, well, lesson learned: don't get high and go out in really freezing cold weather because it intensifies things. I should have known that because I learned that it intensified that cannabis, THC, intensified sexual pleasure when I learned that by accident when I was about 23 or something like that. It's the first time I mixed I was like sex with THC, and I was like, oh, this makes it a lot better, you know. Because THC blows up and open pleasure centers in your brain, and yeah, that didn't help. Later on in life, that didn't turn out to be such a good thing for me to learn because right around when my parents were leaving this mortal coil, I was like relying on that sort of behavior and smoking cigars and smoking a lot of weed because everything was just, my whole life was shit, and also like put me in a bad state of mind to where like in that case marijuana actually was a gateway drug because it's like I did not think about like these little yellow pills that my aunt is giving me. I better check these out, see what they are. And she said something like, I don't want you to get hooked on these things. Xanax, of course. And I'm like, hooked on them? Not likely. You know, I didn't know what they were or know anything about benzos. And yeah, but I was like in a weakened state, and then I think that contributed to my heart problems, or like I'm not sure, you know. Um, I know that it took me 2 times being high in the ambulance to figure that shit out. That like I need to stop this. I need to change this behavior, and cut out the smoking, and cut out the mixing marijuana and masturbation, because that's just, I do that and I don't know how much I smoke, because I'm high, and I throw all three of them together because it gets boring, of course. And yeah, that's I don't know. I've had incidents since I've trying to think. I think I had like one incident where I had already quit smoking, but that I think almost all the times I had my heart shocked, it had something to do with smoking though. Because the last time I had my heart shocked, it was because I was hanging around with the uh, PTSD war vet upstairs and doing a lot of smoking. Which by a lot of smoking, I mean like I was smoking. It wasn't like buying packs and shit. I obviously can't get away with that stuff. I am much too delicate. And so yeah. See, I knew that onanism stuff would take me on a dark road, but I just think that's funny that he was actually having sex, and because he pulled out, it became synonymous somehow with masturbation. It's like masturbation involving a woman. That doesn't sound like master. That's not. It's not the way I do it. But anyways, we'll leave that alone. Not your problem. See, this is, it's much more palatable because I got like a coat on, and I got a flannel shirt on, I got a hat on and stuff. It's much more creepy if I was talking about this like laying in bed, and if I started doing a Barry White voice while I was talking about it. Yeah, things used to be different back in the day. I would just mellow out, and I'll tell you something, it was good. The guy would just draw everything out. That one song he does is really cool though, where they all have the coordinated. I'll put a link to that so you can check that out. But you might be familiar with it. But he does like this monologue at the beginning of it, and they're all wearing coordinated blue jumpsuits that leave very little to the imagination, and it looks just utterly ridiculous. It's like something that would never fly nowadays, but it sounds beautiful. I'll have to look that up for you to make up for all that other stuff I was talking about. But anyways, my head is full of such trivia, and it's all priest's fault. Yeah, it's definitely all the Catholic Church. I will blame the Catholic Church for driving me away from sex and into littering my mind with a bunch of nonsense that I can occasionally string together in amusing words. But I'm always walking a tightrope between brilliance and inanity, between cleverness and crudity. So, sometimes I fall down and I can't get back up. And no, that's not a reference to that commercial. And no, that commercial never was funny. It wouldn't be funny to anybody. Yeah, I don't know how that became funny. It's like, that's not funny. Don't you have any elderly relatives or disabled people in your family? Well, how is that funny? You sick son of a bitch. I always hated that. That would be a meme nowadays. I've fallen and I can't get up. I don't know why. Anyways, so I don't know if I'm going to go to sleep. I don't know if I'm going to eat. I didn't eat yet. I don't know anything anymore. Except for that I did some more research, and it looks like this COVID relief economic stimulus check or whatever is going to pay my rent for me. So it's going to pay 3 months rent for me, because my rent for 3 months is $1,275, and this is $1,200 plus I got $356 in food credits that I wasn't expecting anyway. So actually, the government apparently is going to be paying my rent for April, May, and June. So I decided that's the way I'm going to go until I can get things straightened around here. I'm going to take my time moving out of here. I've been here this long. Now things might change, or I might, get involved in more nonsense. My videos might become more interesting. I hope they stay completely boring and banal and pedestrian and whatever word I can think of that means not full of machetes and whatnot, and not full of like almost breaking people's arms and whatnot. It's like, but if it gets to the point where, I'm going to be interacting with that dude that's out of his damn mind, um, there's going to have to be some boundaries set, because that guy is so crazy that he sat in my house, smoked all his weed, and then drank the bong water, and I was like, please don't do that. He drank the bong water. Yeah, he was like, the next day he was like, ooh, that was a bad idea. And I'm like, yeah, drinking bong water usually is a bad idea, but he smoked just ungodly amounts of weed. And it's like, don't you understand the whole tolerance thing? You back off, and then it's more effective. It's like, if you like do it all the time, you just have to do more of it to get the same effect. I mean, don't you know anything about drugs? But really what it is, somebody with that much pain just wants to be fucked up all the time, so they don't have to deal with it. Like I said yesterday, or I said the last time I was in this chair, I should say, is that peace of mind is, like the commercial says, priceless. It's like I don't have to be high. I don't have to. The only thing I have to do is take those damn benzodiazepines, or else I start to feel sick. So, that's kind of want to move out of here and change my life around, and I've already taken steps toward that by cutting this person out of my life, cutting that person out of my life, just not getting involved with anybody in the building, not adding extra nonsense, trials and tribulation to my life in order to simplify it. And I'm not exceeding the 15 milligrams a day volume, because I would like to have less moments when I speak, and and remember things. And it's like that really frustrates me when I can't remember something that I should remember. I know that actress's name. I know this is what I'm thinking of. I know this, I know that. I know it's there. But it's like suddenly, instead of, playing the piano with your bare fingers, suddenly you have gloves on. Or more aptly, perhaps, you're rummaging around in a closet trying to pick out something, and you have mittens on. And there's a bunch of junk in there, and you can't, almost can figure out what's what, but not quite. That's what my brain is like. It didn't used to be like that, and I can't attribute that to age, because I'm 52. And yeah, I can't blame it really on the amount of pain I'm in, or the CRPS. I can only blame it on the benzodiazepines. So, as far as like backing off on those and playing games with those, I don't think that's the right time for that right now. I have to, I'm not sleeping well as it is, and it's like I have to get my housing situation the way I wanted it, And it's really only been a week since I found out that place had that stupid rule of 2.5 times the rent as far as your income. So, after that, I was like, man, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do any shopping. I just don't want to do any more looking around, trying to find a place. And then even if you do find a place, you don't know what you're going to get anyway. And I keep biting my lip with this tooth for some reason, which is making this less enjoyable for me. And less enjoyable for you, but I actually have a sore spot there on my lip, like right here. And life is really hard. But then again, like if I was unfettered, if I wasn't diseased, if I didn't have trouble wearing a shirt, if I had a body that functioned normally, and I didn't have to worry about my heart. I mean, I would probably be a very frightening human being if I'm like I am now. Uh, but with the body that I had, well, my body fell apart when I was very young. But like even the body that I had when I was 20 years old, you know, I would be like a rampaging prisoner let out of jail. There is no telling what I would get into or how I would behave. But I think I am disciplined enough that I can handle it. So, if you want to cut me loose from this suffering filled existence, I think I've earned it. Yeah, I think I can handle it now. I've mellowed with age considerably and have much better control of myself. And I haven't punched anybody for years. And yeah, but I don't know what I would get up to if I could suddenly have like good legs and walk around. It would be like this is a prison of flesh, but it would be like a prisoner on parole, man, just escaped from jail. I'm just ready to ravage the town, man. Oh, I didn't. I'm just trying to imagine what that would be like. But now, like, I got these things weighing me down, like the bad heart and stuff. Yeah, I don't know what I would get up to. I would have to funnel my energies into positive things. But yeah, ooh, that is something I'm gonna have to think about. But it's not gonna happen, so. And what my mom would say, like, that kind of thinking, it probably won't happen. It's like, no, I don't think it works that way. I'm sorry, I don't think it works that way. And for people that believe in a deity that intercedes on our behalf, I think that you're taking your sweet time up there, or maybe he's like, maybe I just have to trust that he, she, or it knows what it's doing, and it's like we have to keep this motherfucker on a chain because if we let him loose, man, he's just gonna get himself in all kind of trouble. Because I'm the kid that I was always like the kid that would do this as a kid, do this bouncing thing. It's called a stereotype motion. I don't make you seasick or anything like that, but I would just do this for hours because I had so much boundless energy. But I was like trapped in a household with a murderous guy, and I didn't know the rules. You didn't know from one day to the next. Like it might get you in trouble this day, it might not get you in trouble this day. You didn't know, so I just sit there and bounce. And then sometimes I would get yelled at for bouncing, but it's the same thing like a cage. They figured this out from studying zoo animals. They call it stereotyped behavior. It's like it's the same type of behavior that you'll see in like an animal that does the same routine over and over again. It's trying to it's got all this energy it doesn't know what to do with, and it's also a coping mechanism to block out um, its own imprisonment. So yeah, so naturally that is why I lived outside most of the times. I have slept outside many times when I was a kid. And even when you're a kid, sleeping on the ground sucks. But I remember one time I was fishing, and it started to rain, and I made like a lean-to, we'll call it. I think that's some kind of Native American term. But I had like some trash bags to sit on and carry fish in and stuff. But I took these trash bags and I weaved them together with a bunch of sticks, and I hid in there from the rain. And then I fished with my fishing rod. I had these sticks propped up, and I was hiding by this lake like 3 o'clock in the morning, fishing. And I fell asleep, and I bumped one of the sticks in my sleep, and it split the lean-to open. Either that, or a whole bunch of water had collected on top of it, and finally it just came down. But it all came down between the garbage bags and hit me. And I got a bucket of cold water thrown on me, and I was like, man, yeah, I fell asleep outside. Um, yeah, that's why I spent so much time outside, getting in trouble, throwing rocks at cars, throwing people in water, um, fishing. I've dived in after a fishing rod several times. That's always an interesting experience because when you bait fish and you don't pay attention, or sometimes even when you do pay attention, and a fish just picks up your bait while it's swimming, and you got your fishing rod up on the prop, that sucker will shoot off of there and go in the lake. And when you're a kid, that and you're poor, that is your entertainment system. That is your YouTube. That is your Xbox. That is your stereo, and it's flying through the air and hitting the water. So what do? You do the same damn thing, man. You jump in the water and you start doing whatever you can do to get that fishing rod back. I did that 3 times, and yeah, one time I did it in a public park, and they were like, somebody was. I didn't even explain myself because I thought it was funny, but they called me over, you know, because they said, "Hey, man, you want this fish? We seen you saving fish." And they're like, way over there. The guy had a loud voice. So I walk around there, and I got my couple of fish on a stringer, and they had a, I don't know if they, what they gave me, but they gave me a couple of fish. But they're like, "Hey, man, we saw you fall in the water over there." And I was like, I already had the fish together, and I was like, "Man, I didn't fall in the water. I jumped in the water." And I just walked away with no explanation. I had to stay there just for a second to see him. Like, I just walked away and tried not to laugh, but I kept a straight face. So I was like, "Man, fall in the water. I jumped in the water, man. What you talking about?" Um, but anyways, uh, oh man, you know me. I can prattle on for hours about whatever delightful nonsense enters my mind, or less than delightful nonsense. Um, but yeah, it is getting light out. Let's see what happens if I turn off the light. I bet you that my sunblocker will work too good. Yep, see, there's enough light to light me. Just a little bit. And see what time it is. See, I told you when I used to fish all the time, I knew these things. What time of year it was, I could tell you exactly when it got light out, exactly when the sun would rise. Because when we were kids, we had this superstition that you had to be there when the sun rose, and you know that was the time. And then we would blame not catching fish on the sun coming up and being too high in the sky. You can catch fish all day on certain days. Some days, the morning is not a good time to fish, but you know, we were superstitious. So I used to know exactly how the sun worked. It is 6:42 here. So even when this thing blocked up. So that definitely means the spring is here in these northern climes. Uh, yeah. Oh, but I think I'm about done. Um, I can't really think of anything else to talk about. Like I said, not only is like the government going to pay for my rent for 3 months, I'm going to have some left over. I have to figure out how to be awake at an appropriate hour and not wake up at midnight and then try to go back to sleep and not be able to do it and just give up. And you know, I don't know if I might get off here and go to sleep in an hour. Who the hell knows? I don't know anything anymore. Uh, yeah, except for obscure facts about the Bible. Oh, I can tell you something funny that you won't believe that I was telling my brother. My brother's fairly knowledgeable about this type of stuff too. But I was like, you know, I'm not clever enough to make this up. But anyways, I was talking about the Catholic Church earlier. I don't. You can look this up on the internet and see if I'm just. I am fairly creative, so you know you could be like, this has got to be bullshit. But they have a thing called a Pope's chair. The reason they have a thing called a Pope's chair is because y'all females snuck one in on them. there was a female pope that somehow made it through the ranks, bishop, archbishop, or however the hierarchy of the Catholic Church, made it all the way to pope, and they didn't find out that they had accidentally made the heinous mistake of treating women as equals and having a female pope until it was too late. So they came up with something called a pope's chair. Now, straight face. A pope's chair is a chair that has a special hole in it, in the center of the chair. And the pope, a prospective pope, would sit down in there, and I guess for modesty's sake or whatever, because he would sit in there and let his balls hang down through the hole, and they would look underneath there and be like, "Yep, not a woman, got balls." And it's a pope's chair. You can look up a pope's chair and see if I'm just dreaming this up or if I had a nightmare one night or whatever. I'm looking toward the outside because I have an invader cat that he actually comes in my house. I've never touched this cat. I've never petted this cat, but this cat knows I have food. So he's probably stealing my cat's food right now. But he comes in meowing, announcing himself, because he's a male cat, and male cats are mouthy. So while I was telling you the story about the Pope chair, I'm hearing this cat, and I'm like, the invader cat is in here again. And that cat was bouncing off the walls one night because I come out of the bedroom, and he was in here, and I shut the window, and he was hiding. And then he realized, like, when I start walking around away from the window, he tried to run out the window and couldn't do it and banged into the glass, and he was fighting with the blinds, and he was just like in a complete, very sad state of hyperactivity, just tearing around the house, just trying to figure out how to get out of the house. And then he ran behind the couch, and I'm like, man, to hell with it. And I was like, I made like I said, not the sharpest knife. I took a cane and I was poking behind the couch I opened the window and I was trying to scare him out from behind the couch, not realizing that all I was doing was terrorizing him more because the other end of the couch is blocked up by the dresser. So there was no way for him to get out to escape. So I'm like, screw it, I'll just leave the window open all night and he can escape that way. See, when it gets nice like this, that causes a problem. Because I want to leave the window open for my old cat, Darkness, to come and go as he pleases. Because he went out early yesterday and the weather's nice, and anytime that he wants to go outside, I like him to go outside. But I don't like just strange cats coming in my house and meowing at me for food, and stealing his food. And I was like, dude, I realize you're old and you're almost retired and shit, but you gotta handle your business, man. Whoop that cat's ass. And he's like, I'm well fed, man. He can have it, I don't care. It's like, that is a welfare attitude you got, cat, right there. You don't care because you didn't pay for the damn food. I paid for the food, and this cat's eating me out of house and home, and he don't even live in my home. Anyways, yeah, I forget the book that I read that in about the Pope's chair, but it had some other like crazy ass facts in it. Oh yeah, and I got to remember to put that link down there to Barry White, the Barry White song with I think the Manhattans, and I got to figure out how to stop biting my lip. I have like an abnormally sharp tooth, like right there. I suppose the first step to stop biting my lip would be to stop flapping my gums, but we know that's not going to happen. So, I need like a thought I had over there. Need like a file and bigger bowls to file that down. My brother would probably just take a metal file and like file that down and file down all the sharp edges. But I am not him. I'm not the kind of guy that says, oh, I stabbed myself in the hand. Was it bad? No, it didn't go all the way through. I ain't that kind of guy. I'm more the kind of guy that's like, shit. I remember when I fell and I know I told this story before, but I fell and there was a grounded microwave plug that was like sitting upright on the ground, and I fell with all my weight on one hand, and it impaled my hand like right here, where two of the tines went all the way in, and the round grounded part of the plug. I don't. I think it barely penetrated, but I got up and my hand was numb, and I was trying to get up, and I was like, I seemed to be tied up to something, and then I like looked, and I was plugged into the microwave. I always regret not turning on the microwave to see if I would be like a potato clock and be able to make my microwave run off of my own electricity. But really, all I did was panic, because I'm like, this, I didn't have a thought process, but I was like, this isn't supposed to be here. It's a basic instinctive reaction, which was a bad reaction, which is to grab the plug and pull it out of my hand, and then I watched like 3 jets of blood, like little tiny fountains coming out of my hand. And then I said, slap myself in the face, literally slap myself in the face. I slapped myself in the head this time, not to slap myself in the face, because I really don't like pain. And anyways, I had to do that to keep myself from passing out at the sight of my own blood, because I'm by myself, and I've heard rumor that passing out when you are bleeding is probably a bad idea, and I think that was after I cut my leg. So, but anyways, that hurt. That was definitely acute pain. It was an adorable pain. And yeah, I just laid in bed and was like, "Ah." My brother would probably be like, shit, get out some gauze or something and wrap it up, and be like, nah, I gotta stop working for a half hour. Me, I'm in bed going, ah, like rocking back and forth in a fetal position, holding my hand with blood all over me. I had to throw something gory in there. You knew that. I've led a blood and guts kind of life. There's always layers to this onion. Yeah, and I think somebody called me accident prone. It's I don't remember who. I was like, mm-hmm, yeah, I do seem to be accident prone. And that makes me think about like walking across those gables when I was a kid. It's like, I think I got accident prone after I got operated on, though. So it probably had something to do with the fact that I had a spinal tumor and stuff, because I would like carelessly walk across the gable of a roof, the very mount of a roof, 30 feet off the ground. In other words, if you screw up, you ain't walking away from that. You're going to go all the way down the roof and then fall off a roof 12 feet, if you're lucky, into the grass. And if you're lucky, not head first. But, something bad is going to come from that. But I never gave it a thought, man. I'd dance around on top of that roof. If I had a fiddler, I would have played. I only played a harmonica. For some reason, my cousin likes this story. I don't know why. I think it's a rather boring story. But I had a harmonica. I always wanted to learn how to play a harmonica, because I was like, it's an instrument that you can carry with you. The problem is, it's really annoying to hear somebody play a harmonica badly. And also, to be able to sing or to be able to hum a tune is very important when playing the harmonica. And also, you have to have a certain type of tongue, because you have to do this thing called tongue blocking. But anyways, the point is, he come upstairs, and our upstairs bedroom was connected to the roof, and I had crawled out the window, and he saw me sitting in my underwear on the roof playing a harmonica. And he said, he didn't even talk to me. He's like worried. It was like, yeah, he wasn't like, what the hell are you doing out there? Anything like that. He was like, went back downstairs, but then he's talking to me about it later, and occasionally he'd bring it up. That's my foster brother. he'd bring it up like, yeah, I remember you, man. You was always strange. I remember that day I saw you sitting out on the porch or sitting on the roof in your underwear playing the harmonica. And I was like, yeah, I suppose that would stick in your head. But yeah, I wanted to play blues harmonica, but I could never manage it. Never had the skill for that. Um, Anyways, I'll leave you with that. Uh, I, hopefully that was entertaining. I do my best, and I recede into the darkness, and I keep fighting that. I gotta do something about that. Maybe I have to ignore the COVID thing and go to the dentist. But yeah, that's going to become increasingly annoying. Mm. What can I leave you with? I can leave you with a salute and a wish for a good day. If you're starting out your day, and I wish that you had a good day. If you're ending your day, or if you're in the middle of your day, I hope you found something that I said amusing. And oh, there's a bug. What are you? Oh, you're a spider. I don't like spiders, but I don't like killing things either. You can chill there, Mr. Spider. You want to see a spider? Oh man, looks like I'm off the hook. I was obligated to pick this spider up by his web, but yeah, he's too quick, man. When I turn on the light, he boogied. I thought cockroaches were supposed to boogie when you put a light on them, not spiders. But he was like just making a strand of web, and I was gonna pick the web up and dangle it in front of the thing, and then he could watch me freak out as it crawled up toward my fingers. You know, like most spiders can't even penetrate your skin with their fangs. That doesn't matter. I saw a tarantula, the deadly cargo, when I was a kid. I've always been afraid of spiders, and I will save my spider stories for the next one. If yeah, there's always more, you know. And I have not led a remarkable life, but I have a different perspective on things that can um, make the ordinary seem interesting. Like I have a brother-in-law that ran a car off the road, and like that's his story. He ran a car off the road. I was like, what happened? He he started talking about what was malfunctioning with the motor. Like that's the interesting part of the story. No, the interesting part of the story is you ran a car off the fucking road. Did you hit anything? Did the police come? Did you get it out of the ditch? And he started talking about why the motor was messed up and why he ran off the road or what happened with the vehicle. And it's like none of that is the interesting part of the story. And it's so, yeah. So anyway, sorry about yeah, the psych about the spider. I was gonna like mess with that spider and try to be entertaining. Cause it's always funny to watch a guy that's like got a deep voice and all macho and shit, being afraid of like a little tiny arachnid, and be like, if I had a girlfriend, she would be the one smashing the spiders. I don't. I would say that I'm a catch and release spider guy. Spiders, I'm not fond of spiders, but I don't like to kill things. And if it that's my bug rule. If a bug leaves me alone, I will leave it alone. But if it keeps bothering me, I'm gonna kill your ass. That goes for any kind of a bug. I don't like killing things. So, but yeah, I thought it would be funny, you know. But yeah, I'm hanging on here for absolutely no reason, and being again the guest at the doorway that has this coat on that you're just like, you just leave, just go, talk to a therapist about your problems with goodbye, your separation anxiety, or whatever it is that makes you hang on too long and wear out your welcome, but just go. You got to know somebody like that, right? Where you're like they got no sense of timing. You know, it's like you want to leave your audience wanting more. You don't want to. I like to leave my audience just. Thank God that's over with. Oh man, I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.